Alright, so I'm just gonna play Hogumathi videos from the playlist on the channel back to back, and we've got the same IRC. Well, I'm not gonna do chat right now, but I guess nothing would be since it's there, nothing's stopping you guys from going. I'll just go. Go to libera.chat, top right, it'll take you to this web login. You can type any nickname. You don't have to have a password. That's just if you want to register. Channel iSpooge daily. Go. So I'm not going to put it on the screen or anything. I'm going to do just pretty much evergreen. This is just kind of like response video to the early days of Hogumathi. So yeah, playlist is on YouTube. That would let us autoplay through. So if I step away, I might just switch over here to the official UI, but I'm actually going to play it through Hogumathi itself just to show off the benefits of using it. So at a glance, this is the same playlist. I scrolled all the way to the bottom. So we can right away see, okay, we have videos from late 2023 or 2022, early 2023, a couple in 2024, and a few lately. This is actually moving. You can zoom way in. This is an old and boring tech, Viz.js. I love to use it. It's got clustering functionality and everything, so you can zoom way in, way out. Very good library. Hasn't been updated in forever. Yeah, so I use it a lot. It's in my O&B tech compilation, which just has 4 things so far. But anyway, so this is the same playlist, and the newest videos are at the end. I don't have that same way to play through automatically right now. I have another app where I've done that, so I can borrow that code basically. And I think I can already get a feed view of this that's compatible with that app actually, so I could open that app and put this URL in there with .feed.json suffix, I think. It might just actually be format equals feed.json, but yeah. So obviously it's been some time since I've done much with this, and that's why I'm figuring it out. And watching the old videos, you know, that's part of the work. So I've got another screen open, and I'll just be doing stuff, taking notes, whatever, and watching this up here. So yeah, here's the feed.xml format. So I was thinking about doing an internals of Hogumathi as well, so that then maybe you might understand this, because I've just been reviewing it myself. And yeah, it's not bad. I just really had to put it down promptly, and just it was not in like a good spot to put it down. I just had to. So yeah. So the gaps and islands stuff, we've got some I wanted to show the typing right here. So collection page is our built-in abstraction. So we can actually make a request with pagination token and stuff. which, let's see, actually we're not actually doing that here, but we could, and then wrap it in our own collection page format. Tweet model, what's this DCVM stuff? So I've had a couple iterations of the tweet model code. So DC data class, VM view model. I don't remember all the steps that got me there. Git history would let us know if we really cared, and these videos might show us as well. So anyway, you can probably expect to walk through an internals video of this. That'll probably be like 2 hours at some point as well. As much for me as it is for anybody viewing. You know, again, it's the kind of thing that like 25 people in the world might be interested in. Similar, so you can search this stuff out yourself. I got some of my own sources for that. Let me just tweet out that we're live. This is my new Twitter app. I showed it just previously. Boom, sent. So live, so you can see small tech Sensei, different branding. This is a public domain stock image, so a little bit of a troll. It's improved a little bit since then. I've implemented the copy formatted. This is coming off of my, you know, just very, very lightly adapted from one of my products on Gumroad. So I was already plugging my stuff. This one has been taken down just because I need to update the scraper code. And this is pre-AI, now post-AI, so easy to keep that maintained. I could just make a prompt where every time the HTML changes, I just say, you know, please rewrite it for this new HTML. Come on. Built-in Windows browser news. So, not positive. Sorry about that. Oh dang, look at this. That's just like my AI video. Da, 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 da. Just M dash. Computer, it's Windows, so it needs to be reloaded. It's been a good 6 months. So, first thing I put on Gumroad was this copy selected tweet with formatting script. You can see $45, know your worth. Look real closely, it gives you a little bit of a structure. So this actually scraped from the regular Twitter website, and now it actually just comes straight from the structure on my app. So same code, and I just added a button for it, a link. And that's on every tweet on the site. So, and then swipe to note. What's that? So that calls into the Notes app that I built, another product that's for sale, the Notes app. And so, let me just. Oh. So, this has been up for years, and people who say they love me, I'm not saying anybody says they love me, especially anymore after all these years on the street, but if they say I'm just like begging for money and being pathetic, They know about this stuff if they're watching me. Do you know about this stuff? Why not? You know? If you know them. I mean,
up here. So we got the Notes app. And then, so refresh. And then we go to the site on Twitter. And we go say, be yourself, don't apologize for it. Swipe. So there's no pop-up there. Refresh. And now, be yourself and don't apologize for it. All right.
So allegedly, when people do that bump thing, even if that's subconscious, that's how hard they want to hit you. Doesn't mean they're going to hit you. Doesn't mean it's assault, but is that 100% of the time the case? I don't know, but
so and then we got the retweet.
Hit or spank.
That's also working now. So yeah, I launched it on the name of the title in the live stream, Hogumathi.
So I built this all in a platform as a service web UI original. Well, did I build it all there? No, I didn't. I deployed it all there though. I built it locally and then basically copied the code into the editor over there.
So you can try it out. I recommend you actually get your own keys.
Very, very early days of the closure-based Replit. Yeah. I think Replit supported Python pretty early on as well. But it's really wild because all of this original vision was for closure. But it was just like not great to run on a Raspberry Pi. And then yeah, I looked for something lighter. I went through JavaScript for a while because I did Node for work for my jobs for a while. But ended up with Python because of the Windows laptop. Windows Store, there was just Python or Lua available. And Python just seemed a little more of a safe bet. I mean, nothing against Lua. I know it's got its niches. I know it's got huge adoption and everything. But yeah, just went with Python. Just want to have fun.
Twitter developer
Not really,
site,
but
developer.twitter.com. You can actually view the source. Make sure that I'm not doing anything weird. Being a homeless guy, I'm obviously not trustworthy, right? So, purpose of the app is twofold. Taking the Twitter archive.
oh, yeah, I haven't even read the README in this latest refresh. I'm not a bad writer. I just write and then forget about it.
So all those graphs and stuff you saw, if you're on my Instagram, the code to actually create that database and then provide a user interface to that and the Twitter API, since I know the domain well. I write basically this in the README file, But yeah, it's a merger between two projects. I'm learning these technologies, HTMX, and it's like my, I don't know, 10th or 15th Python project in 6 months. And so I just need to take the domain that I knew well, Twitter. It's the most basic thing at its core. I've got a little description of the license I chose, AGPL, which requires full disclosure of source code. And I mentioned if you want to do anything copyleft or commercial, you can contact with me. I talk about why I have contributing set up the way that I do. Basically, I require a copyright assignment rather than just merging your code that you own the copyright to, similar to the Apache project. And I just describe, I don't go into detail. I just say that that's how it is and a little bit of why.
So people might say, oh, please consider accepting contributions. Like, I have considered it. That's the conclusion, is that I don't accept, like, open contribution.
So, yeah. So then
and thanks to AI, I don't have to. Yeehaw!
Can see when we go to a profile view.
So this isn't all done right now, and what I've been showing off, like, this stuff's just missing. But as much as we can reconstruct from the web UI, we'll be able to map into the structure that once worked and looked like this.
That I've got this. First of all, there's these numbers up here, and those are in the version that's launched right now. They do actually get updated as you scroll through. And I just put a fake little graph so you can use.
All right. Histogram versus scatter. I think I like the histogram look, actually. There's obviously a lot more posts here than on the YouTube channel page that we looked at that just had, at most one per day.
Your imagination. I say sign up to my Patreon, if you want first access to this stuff going forward. And every now and then, I guess I'll, launch a new version here. You can tap visit. It takes you to the actual.
Glitch was a pretty nice service, and I did have a hot standby on my own server. And so I didn't even know Glitch shut down for like a month. And yeah, so when I found out, I just switched my profile links over to my own domain, and it was already ready to go. So, yeehaw.
Full online version of the app. This is my local version. Oh, whoops. So that took you to the full screen developer interface. What I actually wanted to go is visit the actual site. Gotta give it access. And we're good. How true is that? Her 5-year-old brother has more testosterone than any man she's met in San Francisco. So I'm not there right now, but I was probably hated because I was, reasonable T. And you're looking at me, you're short, you don't have T. Well, yes, I'm short. I know. That doesn't say how much T I have or not. That means the T that I do have is more potent, right? Oh, you stuttering now? Potent. I opponent. So yeah, what did I say? I said this is the Twitter app, so I showed you that. Anything else? Yeah, obviously you can click on other users. You get the purple link, that's pretty cool. I did a thread on Twitter about like why I did this parameter here. The online version doesn't have the archive set up, the local version does. I think I showed that the other day on the stream. What's this? Probably added some new option that refers to whatever. I'm not going to fix it right now. Oh, here's another one. I changed the UI a little bit. Oh my gosh, it's all breaking. What's going on? Oh, I wonder if my token just expired. Yeah. So yeah, that's something I know I got to do is the token expires every 2 hours, so
I don't know if it'll show how many subscribers the channel had, but it was like 20. So I did so many videos where there was no viewers.
pass for the token was invalid. Am I only allowed to be logged in from one URL or something? So authorize. And am I able to go to archive now? No. Well, I don't know. What did I add? Not sure what. Oh yeah, because that view is actually using this view too. Could be one of these up here, because I have to implement the same view on each. Got something called view facade. Oh, what's this techno?
Yeah, so I had no idea about how to make a modular Python application or anything, so this is my first my first attempt to do that, and then it iterated a couple times as I was making it. And yeah, we ended up with content system and just a giant thing that uses find spec to determine if modules are in the path. So like that chart, if we have the ONB Tech Viz.js library in the path, then it'll just automatically show that graph or not. Because Viz.js enabled is a flag that is set by whether we find that module or not, sort of thing. So there's probably a more structured way to actually implement that, like capability finding and stuff. But I just like found something that worked and just kept repeating the pattern and figure like, all right, I'll see the variations in the patterns and stuff and then abstract it somehow. But yeah, pasted all those patterns and never got to that last like clean up and think about it step. You know what I mean? Velocity, but did not have like a robust future proofing, which that is what software engineering is, as opposed to development or programming. It's development or programming over time. So those aspects were missing because I had to put it down and not, do my future self a solid. That's kind of what you can think about software engineering, is doing your future self a solid.
Babble, blah, blah, blah. Let me just show quick. So I've got the Twitter app, and then this loads the Twitter v2 and the Twitter archive. So I have to have the same functions on both of these. So I probably added some call into v2 that's not in archive yet. So yeah, this is on the localhost version. So not too worried about it. So what else? So holiday times. How's your holiday times going? So yeah, I was reminiscing a little bit today. Thankfully the coffee shops were open until early afternoon, so got some good morning sessions in. I was just thinking like, God, this is such a familiar feeling. Like in the Bay Area, I had friends to spend holidays with for the most part, but it was a little bit weird still because I was always the one who, people are like, oh, you going home for the holidays, da da da. I'm like, no. So all those people, they have like families that are functional and blah blah blah. And then I've like, talked about being betrayed a little bit by, people like jumped in the chat who I felt the urge to make like a 2-hour stream defending myself against that didn't actually get streamed. And I'm just like, I'm not a dramatic person, but I get why these people are stirring up drama against me. Like, you wouldn't get it now, but, people have told me throughout life that other, like, mutual friends envy me and stuff. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't, process it as anything to worry about. Now I know. But, I'm down. Everyone's getting their wax in on me. The thing is, addressing this kind of stuff, especially doing it by name or saying this person or that person, saying they do this, they don't do that, whatever. It's all just setting the stage for, it's all, like, we'll just say it's like a clout game, right? And, like, I'm a homeless guy sitting in a relative's basement right now. But it's like, and yeah, obviously, like, I talk about, I don't have any, many friends or anything right now. But it's like, because I'm not playing the social game. I'm not playing, like, the self-marketing game much. Like, I'm getting on these streams because it's just, like, a unique situation, and I feel like documenting it as best I can, which, it's usually through Twitter. Lately, I've been getting on the YouTubes a little bit more. And, as much as I could, I did on Instagram, just like pictures of nice stuff. But I'm not in a place where I see nice stuff anymore. Like, I haven't left a few block radius in months. I haven't even had phone service in longer than that. So, yeah, like, I don't have a very enviable life right now. I get it. So, it's almost a joke if I say, this person, that person envies me, whatever. Or used to envy me. Because then it's like, people want to go ahead and just, like, minimize me as much as possible and, like, portray me as crazy and gaslight me and blah, 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 right? Where it's like, it seems totally absurd to even say that because, I'm just some homeless.
That's a tiring subject, isn't it?
Guy in a basement. But, it's like, I get it. I'm not, like, saying it to, like, pump myself up. It's just, like, where am I coming from? Documenting where I am. And, I just don't want this to, like, come back in the future where these people, like, come out and, like, start some drama. Like, I already see them. They're always, like, following my mutuals.
Like. I get it. I've even been through it and unlearned it. When you go into a low vibration state, you get on autopilot. You almost have a reality that's lower frames per second in a way, because you've got so much background processing going that you have less perception available for present stuff, and so your IQ basically drops. A project that I was going to do with my friend was take my receipts, take my tweets, and put them on one view and see when I'm tweeting this way, that way. Could do sentiment analysis type stuff on it with AI, all kinds of crazy stuff. This was 2015 era. We just talked about it one time on fairly short walk, not the whole walk, but we talked about it briefly. And yeah, basically, if I'm eating crap food, then I'm going to be kind of low vibe. But not necessarily, because if you tell your food, I love you food, and all that kind of stuff, then it gives it good vibration. And like the water experiment, there are valid uses of like, yes, like the water experiment, like that sentence. If you tell water, I love you, and then freeze it, it's got nice symmetric crystals that are beautiful. Symmetric might not be the right word, but they would be symmetric for the most part. And then there's water that you say, oh, I hate you, you're ugly, blah, blah, blah. And it comes out and it's definitely not symmetric. It's just like chaotic crystals that are all messed up. So it's not beautiful. And so if the last thing your food sees before you eat it is, I love you, you're beautiful, thank you, it can't hurt, and it's good to say, even if the food sees nothing. But we already have this proof that when you say stuff to water and then freeze it, it freezes differently depending on what you said to it.
Like suddenly the same people become my mutuals, so it's like, you know, they're not even doing it on fake accounts necessarily. Like, it's just like I see it happening, and it's so
Could be totally organic, just the way that suggestions work and stuff. I'm in a much less small frame right now. I like to use the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, layer 1, 2, 3, 4, and I turned it into an upside down pyramid with biological at the bottom because of energy expenditure or something, and also to just symbolize that if that's where you're actually operating, if that's where your attention and focus are, if that's what you're materializing in your life, then sort of as you go out, you have to do it in a balanced way, because if you just go, because there's 3 columns, so if you just do one column, it'll tip over. So you have to still go up in a balanced way. And so right now I might be more in layer 2, because my biological needs are basically met most of the time. And so getting out of layer 2 and into layer 3 would be, you know, money's in the bank, I'm caught up on all my bills, you know, stuff like that. There's a budget in place. So I'm maybe part of the way there, but certainly not all the way there. But so right now I'm not necessarily implementing attaining food. You know, that's pretty much handled for now. But I could fall down at any time. But yeah, so depending what was going on, making that receipts and tweets graph or visualization or report or whatever, I could go to this time, pull up the receipts, pull up the tweets, look at it, and see, like, where was I?
so easy to do. Like the Twitter API, you can just go and scrape someone's follows, and you do it, you know, especially someone with low follow like me. It's like you get 15 API calls per 15 minutes, and each one can pull 1,000 followers. well, I don't even have 1,000 followers, and I don't follow 1,000 people. So it's like, you know, that's like 15 for each of these. So like, they could do this to 15 people on one account. So it's like, it's super easy to just, you know, watch who I'm following, watch who's following me, send them a DM, buddy up to them. And it's like, boom. It's just, you know, you mass up this snowball of people that are around me. And like, I'm not saying that this is like some big conspiracy, you know. It's just like, I'm saying how easy it is to do this. So it's like, if I'm going to do anything online, I have to do it under a fake brand, basically, or just have faith that the people doing this to me will expose themselves. You know, I mean, like, you know, on the counter warfare side, one could make a bot that says, you know, each time I get a new follower, this person follows them. And it's like, you know, you put it onto a plot like this, and it becomes pretty clear what's happening, right? So, you know, it's like, I'm not really worried about it enough to do that, but it is really annoying. You know, because it's like, back in the day, I didn't have to worry about any of this stuff. Like, I could just make stuff, and like, at the time, I was not a person worth, you know, kicking down on. I was not weak. Well, I mean, I was weak, but I didn't appear weak. Like, I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't vulnerable. Maybe I was. Maybe it just didn't seem like it. You know, maybe the people doing this to me weren't as aggressive or hungry back then, you know? Like, you know, I don't know what it is. It's just whatever. So, yeah. So we talk about fatherless, changing topics now. So, like, what does that mean? You know, is there some sperm donor out there who's in contact with my relatives still? Yes, absolutely. And it's like, do my relatives probably, you know, 'cause I know some of my relatives are watching what I'm doing too. And it's like, do they talk to him? You know, probably, whatever. And it's like, you know, again, it's like, so later on when I become successful again, it's going to be like, oh, you know, forgive your father. First of all, not father. Father is only God. Oh, now you're just playing with words. You're redefining things like a liberal. No, you know, there's like father, dad, sperm donor. Like, father is spiritual, dad is material, and sperm donor is like literally just busted one into your mom. And, you know, mom can be mother, mom, sperm donor, similar thing, spiritual, material, and like literally just, you know, you were a tenant in her womb for a little bit. She smoked and drank while she was pregnant, you know. She, you know.
Is that real? Can that really happen? Are there really parents who get pregnant on either end, who just doesn't care, doesn't take care? Is it so preposterous to think maybe they just like pretend to love their child, but they actually don't? So preposterous. Or pretty common, but we just don't talk about that. When I relaunched iSpooge Daily in 2018, it was about saying whatever the F I want on the internet and not getting kicked off. Nobody can kick me off. Is that arrogant? I had the mic muted because I was crunching on chips, and I have one last crunch in my hand. And I'll be low class and do it on the mic.
So it's like I've had at best moms and dads in life. But, you know, it's like...
I'm going to go get a cup of water. Probably 3-4 minutes. And paused on the prettiest frame.
If in 2018 I would have used my credit, well, like 2017 I would have used my credit, I could have gotten like a huge credit line, but I didn't. You know, I wasn't that financially anything. I wasn't that, aware of how bad things would become. I thought I would just go live in my car for like a week, and then, things would work themselves out. Well, it turns out, like, the more desperate you become, the more people want to stay away from you. So there was nobody, like, I was still kind of, like, picturing, like, the TV shows where it's, like, friends help each other, like, oh, man, you moved into your car, like, let me hook you up with a job or something. Well, people weren't really eager to hook me up with a job after what happened in 2016, This is, like, way pre-cancel culture, and, David DHH from 37 Signals, Basecamp, Hey Email. He put out an article today about like transitive guilt, and yeah, I mean that's basically what it is. It's like you get accused of some ism. For me, it was sexism, and then people, just the accusation itself is bad enough that people don't want to be around you because, if they support you, then they're guilty of it too. And you can't really, prove that you're not sexist. But, now, 2020 to 2022, it's, everywhere, everyone sees it. But, by the time it was 2018, I was already basically seen as crazy. I had already left tech. I was working labor and service jobs. And then, come pandemic, there were some issues with private investigators showing up at my workplace just prior to pandemic, and then, pandemic prevented me from going and defending myself at court. So now I'm an insurance liability anytime HR does a background check on me. So it's I tried to quit tech, and then, basically I didn't even have the ability to use a computer to do training to work at a grocery store. So it's all right, it's clear that
it looks like we're reconnected. Pardon that cutout. Anytime the power saver goes on,
it puts the lotion on its skin.
the broadcast stops, so I gotta tap shift every now and then to keep it on. So yeah, I didn't even, like, I had to do online training.
I think there's a backlog in the buffer, and it eventually steadies back out to the normal pace. If it's going like, yeah, I think that's what happened.
When I worked at the grocery store, and or sit in a room in, you know, at first at the beginning of pandemic, I was actually like, you know, believing it was super infectious and deadly and stuff. So yeah, technically I could have stayed at, you know, there's like this room in the basement, but it's just like between the lighting, the Wi-Fi, and, you know, the whole like virus thing and having to wear a mask, and, you know, just like, I just opted not to, you know. I basically, did I ever do the training? I think I did. I think I actually ended up doing the training on a laptop upstairs, like on break or something. I don't quite remember. Crazy time. But yeah, anyway, so it's like, point is, you know, basically need IT to do anything, even just work at like entry-level jobs.
Yeah, during pandemic, not having electricity, not having good phone access, I was literally just in my car, peeing into bottles, drinking water, same loop every day, coffee, whatever food, go to the park, but stay in my car at the park. Same, like, people would walk by. Good Lord. Weird open air prison times.
And so yeah, I ended up just like making a Raspberry Pi based computer, making software for it, making software to do data, you know. And
All homeless people are mentally ill, blah, blah, blah. I've just found ways to keep myself grounded. The gym is physical grounding. You know, I can always go. I can pick up 35-pound dumbbells, lay on a bench, pick them up, and yup, I can still lift them. I can still do pretty similar number of sets. Go to the deadlift spot, throw on a couple 45s. Yup, 135 is still easy peasy. I can do unlimited of these. Throw on a couple more plates, do a few. Yup, this is good. Maybe throw on a couple more 10s on the end. And do like one, maybe two more. Yup, we're good. So that's the physical version, and then the mental version is, all right, yeah, I can still code stuff. I can still tackle this problem today. And then there should be a spiritual version too, just for the trifecta. Gratitude. First thing, wake up. Last thing, not every day last thing, but most days. Many days. First thing though, every day.
I like quitting tech, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll go back to tech. And yeah, going off on crazy tangents. Where was I? You know, so just like talking about, I got there like through fatherlessness, like.
All right, next video.
Yo, welcome to the stream.
Better audio.
Check. Yo, welcome to...
I don't know if I ever explained those bottles, but just because of like pandemic and lockdown and everything, I just identified water as a choke point. So I had a month or two worth of food, and as many every time I bought a gallon of spring water, I just filled it up with tap water and put it in the basement. Nothing crazy. You know, it's recycling the bottles by putting them in a spot where we have space. Like, why not just hold on to some extra water? Why not? You know, after all that time living in my car, I knew how much water it took per day to survive, you know, about a gallon or so, including bathing. Probably want to drink like 2 to 3 liters, and then the rest would be for bathing or rinsing stuff off or whatever. So to me, I'm looking at that. I'm seeing a couple weeks worth of survival right there. Is that so crazy? Is that mentally ill? You know, just recycle the bottles like a normal person. Just drink the tap water like a normal person. Okay, you could get me at why you're throwing away your money on spring water. Well, that's my choice. If you don't see a reason to drink spring water over tap water, I'm not going to convince you right now. But that was my choice. But then in a survival situation, I'm never too good to drink tap water. But if I have the choice to drink spring water, if it costs $1.50 per gallon, that lasts me, you know, I would cook with tap water and stuff still, so probably 2 to 3 days per gallon. So we're talking 30 or 40 cents per day. Oh, but it adds up. Yes, it does. But look at what else it bought us too, is this little insurance policy. So I don't know if I ever explained that, but I didn't want to explain it at the time. But now that it's after the fact, that's what that was all about. Because I was afraid that stuff could be shut off during that time. Like, I think that's a reasonable fear, and given a basement to keep stuff, here I am explaining myself, but I don't think that's crazy. I think that's very well adjusted and sane behavior.
The stream. All right. So just a quick update, and we all know quick always means like a half an hour or something. But yeah, so I've got this open source app, and it's not on GitHub. It's just like old school, because it's not really worth my time to try to build a community around it right now, blah, blah, blah.
Should I have, though? So this was before the realization that business is relationships. I already knew how money works. It prints, it trickles down, so you have to know somebody to get money, but I don't know why it just did not. I was still thinking like product-minded, mass market, because I worked in a lot of mass market consumer stuff, and so I didn't know how they drove traffic. You know, I just figured it was just so good, it was organic. But no, there's just tons of ads and stuff driving traffic, acquiring customers, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even know all that stuff.
So there is a version that works available online, but yeah, I've like done some updates to it. So it works based on the Twitter archive and then also the live API, and it's based on 2 projects that I'm bringing together.
I think you can get to this page online. It might require a login, but it might be anonymous. Let's try HTML and then it is yeah. So I can put this in the video description, and you can actually look at it on the app. Scrolling should work. Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta go do. I don't have to do it on stream, but I'd just rather do it now that I'm thinking about it. If it's gonna take less than 5 minutes, just do it kind of thing. We could modify that to say, though, how many people are watching, because if 4 other people are watching and it takes 1 minute, then it's actually taking 5 minutes. There we go. Browse playlist with Hogumathi. And it does not have the Viz.js enabled. I think it has, it does not have the premium extensions. So maybe I just don't want to make promises, but it kind of makes sense to have a hosted premium version, even though when you subscribe you get the source code. It might still make sense to just have a server online that people can use. Thinking about access tokens and stuff, like probably want to have it so they provide their own access tokens. So that'd be kind of a thing. It almost becomes a managed server at that point. So if you buy a supported version, then I think I can justify having a managed server equivalent. I was saying last night, or whenever I just streamed last. And I think format equals feed.json should be available. Tis not. Yeah, feed.json. Wait, this is going to be a long slog through these videos. Twitter DMs API, email references, YouTube data API v3. That was in 12/2022. Technical debt 12/19/2022. Intellectual debt. That was a new concept. Intellectual debt. All code is technical debt. No code is intellectual debt. So AI is the extreme of no code, which is an extreme of intellectual debt. That means nobody understands what the code does. So I've never seen this concept before. And I explore it here. Intellectual debt, what's that? So you get velocity, but then you lose maintainability. So it's good for today, but you're borrowing from the future. So getting into the modular app architecture stuff in March of 2023. Homeless guy speaking practice. So where was I 2023? 2 years ago. I think I was just about to start my job in the kitchen. I might have been working at another grocery store. Oh wait, no, March 2023. It's 2026, 5, 4. Okay, yeah. So pre-homeless shelter. I think I went in like 5 of 2023 to the homeless shelter. So I was enduring, cut my own hair, looking like a crazy guy. But you can tell, not actually that crazy, just in a tough situation. Rotting for years and years, everyone so scared to do anything to help me. I don't know why. Other than that one word, homeless. So 8/25/2024, so now at the office space. Man, my hair wasn't that bad when it was shorter. Commonplace app. Good Lord. So yeah, the evolution of the Notes app. I renamed it back to Notes app. Inspiration scrolling, so now we're into the present. And our present stream is not showing up. I do want to watch all of this stuff, but I think 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and how far into this live stream are we? An hour. So like an hour combined max seems pretty reasonable. So, we're at 103. So yeah, that's what we'll shoot for. An hour per day? I don't know, but yeah. Got to get through these old videos, see what was going on. Definitely not as productive as just reading the code. I could feed the transcripts into AI and just like have it pick off key developments, that kind of stuff. You know, it's not really slop if it's doing that sort of just search work for me, you know. Even if it summarizes it and I review, you know, skim the logs, and you can ask it to give you references to everything that it says too. So it'll say like this transcript at this time is how it's backing up what it's saying. So it makes it a lot easier to review. Because if something seems incorrect, you can go follow that reference, look at what you were saying and say, yeah, that pretty much makes sense or not. You know, so it's always human reviewed if you want it to be. So yeah, thanks for joining. See you soon.